You're holding your favorite book, the one you've read a dozen times before. But this morning, something's different. The words, they aren't clear. The letters blur and shift, like they're trying to escape the page. You blink hard, adjust your glasses, maybe tilt the book under the light, but it's still a mess. And for the first time, you catch yourself thinking, was the print always this small? Or, is it my eyes? Maybe it's not just the book. Maybe you've noticed that the colors on your TV aren't as bright as they used to be, or that the sunlight pouring through your window doesn't quite dance like it once did. Maybe the world around you is losing its color, its sharpness. And you think, hey, I'm just getting older. That's what happens, right? But what if I told you? It's not just aging. What if I told you your eyes might be sending you quiet, urgent warnings? Warnings that, if ignored, could lead to something worse. Much worse. Because by the time you really notice these changes, it might already be too late. But don't worry, I've got good news too. There's something so simple, so natural sitting in your kitchen that can actually help. A tiny seed. One that science is now saying could help protect your eyes, strengthen your retina, and keep your vision clear even after 70. And that's not all. In this video, we're diving deep into that seed, how it works, how to use it, and I'll share with you 5 warning signs your eyes give you before serious damage sets in. These signs? Most people ignore them, but you won't. Not after today. So let me ask you, have you noticed changes in your vision? Or maybe in someone you love? Maybe a parent, an uncle, a dear friend? If so, let me know in the comments. Just type, I'm here. That way, I know I'm not just talking to a screen, I'm talking to you. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to Elderly Spring. This channel is all about keeping you informed, empowered, and healthy as you age gracefully. All right, let's get into it. Let me tell you about Mr. Charles, 74 years old. He loved his morning routine, black coffee, his favorite armchair, and the morning newspaper. He'd done it for decades. But then one morning, he picked up the paper and couldn't make out the words. He thought, maybe the lighting's off. So he moved closer to the window, still blurry. He cleaned his glasses, even tried reading under a lamp. Still nothing. That's when it hit him. It wasn't the light. It was his eyes. What Charles didn't know was that something inside him was slowly changing. The macula, that tiny but critical part of the retina responsible for sharp central vision, it was degenerating. It's called age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, and it doesn't announce itself with pain or discomfort. No, it sneaks up on you quietly until reading becomes a chore, faces become harder to recognize, and suddenly your world just blurs. And here's where most people go wrong. They blame it on age, shrug it off thinking, this is just what happens when you get older. But that mindset, it's dangerous. Because AMD is progressive. It gets worse if you ignore it. But the good news? There are ways to nourish that part of your eye. Simple things, daily eye exercises, better lighting when you read, and most importantly, adding certain foods to your diet. For instance, chia seeds. Tiny, but packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential for retinal health. These seeds can help slow the degeneration and keep your vision clearer, longer. Add them to your cereal, your yogurt, even your water. A small habit that could make a big difference. But blurry vision isn't the only sign you need to pay attention to. What about when your night vision starts to fade? Dorothy was 72 when she first noticed it. She was driving home from her granddaughter's birthday party. The roads she knew by heart suddenly looked unfamiliar. The streetlights? They had this hazy glow around them, like halos. She thought maybe the headlights on her car were dirty, but they weren't. Her eyes just couldn't adjust to the dark like they used to. Here's why. Your night vision relies on special cells in your retina called rods. As you age, these rods weaken, especially if your body is low on vitamin A or if oxidative stress is damaging your cells. Without healthy rods, your eyes struggle to adapt to low light. That's why driving at night becomes scary, even dangerous. Most people blame their car or the weather or bad roads. But the real problem? It's inside the eye. The solution? Increase your intake of zinc and lutein. And guess what's rich in both? Pumpkin seeds. Just a handful a day can help your retina regenerate those essential cells. Sprinkle them on your salad, mix them in your trail mix. Easy. Now, if you think that's concerning, wait until you hear about the sign that creeps in, even when your eyes seem perfectly fine during the day. Betty was 76 when she started noticing it. She loved watching old films, especially ones in black and white. But then, even the color films started looking washed out. She thought maybe her TV was getting old. Maybe the screen was losing its brightness. But it wasn't the TV. It was her eyes. When colors start to fade, when reds look more like browns, when the green in your garden doesn't pop the way it used to, that's your cones in the retina breaking down. Cones are responsible for color vision, and when they degrade, the world literally loses its vibrancy. This isn't just inconvenient, it's a warning sign. A sign that oxidative stress and poor circulation are affecting your eyes. Many people try to fix it with new glasses, but no lens can replace dead retinal cells. That's where flax seeds come in. Flax seeds are packed with alpha-linolenic acid, a powerful antioxidant that shields your retinal cones from further damage. Grind them up, add them to your morning smoothie or oatmeal. Simple, natural, effective. Next up, a sign that feels harmless, but it's anything but. Eye pain. Pressure behind your eyes. You feel it when you bend over, or when you've been reading too long. That's what Paul, at 78, experienced. His family thought he was just tired. But when he finally went to the doctor, they diagnosed early glaucoma. Glaucoma is often called the silent thief of sight. It increases the pressure inside your eye, slowly damaging the optic nerve. Left unchecked, it leads to blindness. And the worst part? By the time most people notice, the damage is already done. Too many dismiss it as fatigue or needing a nap. But that's a risk you don't want to take. You need to support your eye's circulation. And that's where sunflower seeds shine. Rich in magnesium, sunflower seeds help improve blood flow to the eyes and can help regulate intraocular pressure naturally. A handful a day can do wonders. But the final sign? This one's the trickiest, because it's silent, and by the time you see it, you're already in danger. Martha, 80 years old. She woke up one morning seeing little specks floating in her vision, little dots, like dust, that she couldn't blink away. She thought it was just sleep in her eyes. A few days later, she saw flashes of light, like tiny lightning bolts at the edge of her vision. She ignored it, thought it would pass. But then her vision darkened, and by the time she saw the doctor, her retina had detached. Floaters and flashes of light, they aren't just annoyances. They're your retina crying for help. When the retina starts to tear or detach, these are the signs. And if you wait too long, the damage can be irreversible. So what can you do? You build a shield for your retina with the right nutrients. Combining chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds creates a powerhouse of omega-3s, zinc, antioxidants, and magnesium. Together they form a natural defense system for your eyes. And because I don't want to just tell you what's wrong, here's something practical you can do starting today. A simple seed mix that could help protect your vision. Take 1 part chia seeds, 1 part flax seeds, 1 part pumpkin seeds, and half a part sunflower seeds. Grind them all together. Store the mixture in a jar. Every morning, take a tablespoon. Add it to your yogurt, your smoothie, your cereal. This daily habit, it feeds your retina the nutrients it desperately needs. And don't just take my word for it. Studies published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have shown that regular consumption of these seeds lowers the risk of age-related macular degeneration and even cataracts. Now let me clear up a common myth. Some folks believe that once your vision starts to fade, that's it. You're done. Nothing you can do. But that's just not true. While we can't turn back time, we can slow it down. With the right foods, the right supplements, and regular eye checkups, you can preserve your vision far longer than you think. You just have to start now. I know it's hard. Watching your body change, noticing that you can't see the fine print like you used to, that faces aren't as clear, that driving at night feels risky when it didn't before. It's frustrating. And if you're caring for someone else, maybe an aging parent, a spouse, and it's even harder, because you see it happening to them. The hesitation when they reach for their glasses, the way they squint at the television, the nervousness in their voice when they say they don't want to drive at night anymore. It's scary because deep down you wonder, is this the beginning of the end for their independence? But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be that way. Just imagine for a second, what if you could change that story? What if instead of waiting for things to get worse, you took control? You made a few simple changes, added a few simple habits, and you preserved your eyesight for years longer. Imagine being able to read your favorite books without struggling. Imagine seeing the colors of your garden, the smiles on your grandchildren's faces, clear, vivid, alive. That's the power of being prepared. That's the power of doing something now. You see, aging will come for all of us. That's just life. But weakness, fragility, losing your vision before your time, that's not inevitable. That's preventable if you start early. So I want you to do something today. Don't just listen and move on. Go to your kitchen, open your pantry. Do you have chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds? If the answer is no, then maybe it's time to rethink that grocery list, because these aren't fancy superfoods just for health fanatics. These are everyday seeds with the power to change your future. It's about stacking the odds in your favor, giving your body, your eyes, the nutrients they need to fight back against time, to protect what you still have, to sharpen what might be fading. And think about it. Isn't that worth a little effort? Isn't it worth a trip to the store? A tablespoon of seeds every morning? Because the alternative is waiting. Waiting for the blur to take over. Waiting for the colors to fade. Waiting until the day you can't recognize the face looking back at you in the mirror. But that doesn't have to be your story. You can be the one who says, I prepared. I protected myself. I'm staying sharp for as long as I can. And if you're watching this for someone else, a loved one who's already starting to show these signs, you can be the one who steps in and says, we're not waiting around for things to get worse. We're doing something about it now. So check your kitchen, check your habits, check your mindset. Because your eyes, they've served you all your life. Isn't it time you gave them something back? Let's start today. Let's take a moment to recap what we've covered today. Blurry vision when you're trying to read, that's not just age, it's a signal. Trouble seeing at night, when the road and the world go dim, that's your eyes waving a flag. Colors looking faded or dull, that's not just your TV getting old, it's your cones breaking down. That ache or pressure behind your eyes, that's not just tiredness, it could be the beginning of glaucoma. And those floaters and flashes of light, that's your retina crying out for help before it detaches completely. These aren't just random inconveniences, they're warnings. Warnings that your eyes are trying to give you before it's too late. And now I want to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these signs in yourself? Or maybe in someone close to you? A parent, a friend, a neighbor? Share it with me in the comments. I read every single one of them. And sometimes just sharing what you're experiencing can be the first step to getting help, or helping someone else notice what they've been ignoring. If you found this video helpful, if you learned something new that made you rethink your health, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find this information. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Elderly Spring. This is your space for real conversations about aging, health, and staying strong and independent no matter how many candles are on your birthday cake. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about your health. and thank you for being here. Remember, aging is a part of life, but losing your eyesight, losing your independence, that doesn't have to be. Stay informed, stay prepared, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.